As the sun sets in the night sky, I suddenly remember it's Tuesday night. So I popped my big bag of popcorn, used my Dune 2 popcorn bucket, and turned on my favorite film, The Bee Movie. Just as I do every single Tuesday night, of course. Suddenly, as I was watching the greatest movie ever made, I had a brain blast.
You like jazz?
Oh my god, Jerry Seinfeld, Bee? You like jazz? Oh my god, who thinks of that? Oh, I sure wish they made this movie into a video game. Wait a minute. Bee Movie Game is the actual title of this for some reason, and released on anything from the PS2 to the Nintendo Wii. Surely this game is good, right? They wouldn't possibly think about releasing a terrible video game for a movie just to capitalize on the popularity of the movie even further without actually making sure the game wasn't complete and utter trash, right? Right? Like the video now. Far before the pandemic, there was a secret plague that happened in the early 2000s, and many people just don't really talk about it too much. I actually consider this to be its very own special little genre of games because they all kind of hit the same exact way. Of course, I'm talking about the absolute plethora of random ass video games that were based on animated films. Now, I don't want you guys to get too confused about this, so lock in real quick, okay? I'm talking about a very specific genre. I'm not talking about Spider-Man games or Star Wars games or even Harry Potter games. I'm actually talking about a very specific kind of Pixar-ish type of movie from around maybe 2002 to 2010 that would always release with the video game, and the video game would always come out like a month before to promote the movie itself. Also, I'm not really sure why I feel the need to put these efforts in a tier list, but I'm just gonna do it anyway based on how much I like them. Growing up in the early 2000s was an absolute fever dream, but at least it was a kind of fun fever dream because I often think about how insanely different it would be to grow up in today's world. And don't worry, I'm not gonna go on one of those games were way better when I was growing up type of rants. Mostly because I don't really subscribe to that train of thought completely, but I will say that kids get targeted in a much different way than I did growing up. You know, today's kids have to deal with such different things like constant dopamine on their iPad, iPhone, or gaming device or whatever, which involves absolute slop brain rot riddled with microtransactions and most of the time begging their parents to pay $30 for one singular skin on Fortnite. Now, don't get me wrong, gamers, we did get targeted as little kids too, but not nearly as bad with these movie games. It would usually go a little like this. A cool new animated movie such as Chicken Little would come out around 2005, which you would absolutely beg your parents to go see because it's Chicken Little, dude. It's the little chicken guy. He's cool, okay? I don't know. Now, as I said before, this was 2005, which according to Google would have costed around $7 per person to get a ticket to go see a movie in theaters. And of course, your parents would also spend a bunch of money on popcorn and snacks, but it would all be worth it because let's be honest, Chicken Little absolutely slaps. Now, the whole family has a great time, but you noticed before the movie started that there was a promo trailer for Chicken Little the video game, which released alongside the movie maybe a month ago. So naturally, you beg your mom to get the game and of course she says no. So obviously you pivot to dad who only says yes to everything, and bada boom bada bing, you're stopping at GameStop to spend around 50 to 60 extra dollars on top of the Chicken Little movie you already saw, leaving your family total to well over $80 in total. But come on, it's worth it. It's Chicken Little, man. Come on, the sky is falling.
The sky is falling!
Now, it might seem to you like I'm being a bit critical of these games after saying all that, but I'm here to let you know I absolutely gobbled up almost any of these games that you could think of like they're hotcakes. And I understand the fact that these were complete and utter cash grabs, but I'm here to tell you that these games were actually really fun. Well, besides the B-movie game, but that one doesn't really count in my opinion. I don't know why, I just don't like it. A lot of them played exactly the same to one another, and I'll get into those. One of the most underrated movie games that has ever come out is actually the Cars video game. This is actually one of the main reasons I think these games were pretty chill, because this had a real 3D modeled open world version of Radiator Springs that you could just go explore in game, which is so much fun. After going to see the movie, you can actually hop into the world in game and explore it for yourself. Besides that, it was a surprisingly good racing game, and it was made by the same team that made the classic MX vs ATV series for like the PS2 and stuff like that. So you know it was in good hands, because in my opinion, those games are absolute bangers. Now, Cars is not the best racing game I've ever played, but I will say it did have quite a bit of charm just like the rest of these, and I think that's kind of what matters in terms of these movie games.
Well, if it isn't my best friend.
A lot of these games had very similar vibes and had very simple gameplay, but looking back, playing a lot of these games gave me one of the most unexpected results in my life that I could have ever imagined. Games like Ice Age 2: The Meltdown actually shaped my love for platforming games. Now, it's not the main one because I'm saving the main one for last, okay? But I really don't even understand why I played this specific game so much. I really can't tell if it was because I didn't have anything better to play or it was just one of the games that my parents happened to get for me at the time. But I have very fond memories of this game for some reason. It really is a lot like all the other movie games, how they were just platformers with collectibles defined. But honestly, that simplicity was kind of welcoming for some reason. Because when you go see the movie and then you buy the video game, you're like, oh cool, I get to walk around in the world of the movie that I just saw in game. I get to control the characters that I just saw on the big screen. This is awesome. But if you like nuts or jumping around, this game is a pretty swell time for sure.
You'll die slowly and painfully.
If you thought that one was weird, you must have never heard of Shrek 2, the video game. Because what the hell?
Ogres eat nature, not parfaits.
I can't even believe this game is real sometimes, but here we are. And why does it go kind of hard? I mean, all you really do is just kind of run around with your squads and beat the hell out of enemies and do some puzzles while Shrek says some shit like, I'm green and I just farted. Also, leading the 3 blind mice through this forest was so annoying. Like, what the hell was this? Why was this so hard? Anyway, Shrek 2, the video game, is definitely one of the video games of all time. Back before Activision had turned itself into a Call of Duty slot factory, they decided to make Guitar Hero. Not this Guitar Hero, this one. Shark Tale, the video game.
Get your scallop carcass out of bed!
For some reason, this game had everything from Guitar Hero to the song Can't Touch This to running away from giant sharks, and yeah, that's kind of it. I know this is becoming a very common theme of this video, but looking back, I have absolutely no clue why I spent so much time playing this game, because now that I've looked back at it, I literally remember the entire game start to finish. Yeah, I wish I was kidding too. Anyway, off-brand Will Smith and the car wash thing is always going to be my favorite part about this game.
Sharks mess with this, I just...
You might be thinking, there's no way that there are that many more of these, right? And I hate to break it to you, there's like maybe 50 to 100 more of these suckers. I don't know why, but from the year 2002 to 2009, it was meta for every single animated movie to have an entire video game attached to it, and I also don't really understand why I played most of them. But in the spirit of not rambling on for 5 hours about all of these, which I probably could, I'm just gonna rattle some off here because I definitely saved the best for last, and I'm going to yap even more about that one than the rest of them, I think. So, okay, we have Ratatouille, the video game, which was a platformer where you collect things, just like every other one of these. But this one had stealth. Oh yeah, baby. Solid Snake Rat Eater came out. And it had a cool game mode where you could race down a pipe for some reason, which is always kind of cool when they just have random ass mini games sprinkled in there, which most of them kind of do anyway. Over the Hedge, the video game, is literally insane, and all it is a stealth heist game, but like kind of ass. I don't know, I don't really have much to say about this one, and this was one of the pretty few of them that I don't really remember super much, but I remember playing it slightly. But it is a pretty hilarious fever dream of a game that I must have been really extremely bored as a child to have been playing. But yeah, I don't really know. Over the Hedge of the video game. Here you go. If you ask me to tell you the plot of the open season movie, or I die, well, I guess I'm dead now.
Ugh, that guy really chaps my khakis.
Wait, they made 3 of these things? Anyway, this movie came out in 2006, so fuck it, just make a quick little video game and throw it in there. They'll buy the shit. Of course, this was made by my favorite game studio, Poopysoft, and they snagged the license for this movie and sharded out this game really quick. But surprisingly, okay, well, actually not surprisingly, it's almost exactly as good as you'd expect open season the video game to be. Remember silly animals running around and talking to each other? Madagascar? Well, it also had a game, and I will say I really do remember enjoying this one when I was a wee little lad. Looking back at it now, it seems like I probably just really liked the crappy little mini games that you could play on the arcade machines and the platforming, dude. Are you starting to see a pattern with these by now? Are you starting to see that they all might just be copy and pastes of one another? That is except for my favorite one. I saved my very specific movie video game from the early 2000s for last, folks. And I have to admit, I have to be brutally honest with you guys about something. Yeah, okay, this was another platformer where you do mini games and fight enemies. Just like 90% of these, okay, just hear me out. This one was different for one specific reason. This one was, well, SpongeBob.
Get a hold of yourself, Eugene. I'm going in.
That's right, the SpongeBob SquarePants movie video game for the PS2 and GameCube came out in the sweet spot of gaming, 2004. This is a game that I've played countless times and I don't even regret a single second of it. First of all, it might not seem like it, but this game came out at a very specific time in the SpongeBob timeline, so let me break it down for you real quick, okay? You see, the first 3 seasons of SpongeBob had just ended and they were undoubtedly 3 of the greatest seasons of animated television in history. I'm dead ass. Now, SpongeBob was on fire. I mean, they did not miss once up to this point. So they wanted to end the entirety of the show with a bang with the SpongeBob SquarePants movie in November of 2004 after season 3 had just ended. And you see the theme by now. If you have an animated movie in 2004, there just wasn't a chance in hell you wouldn't have a video game attached to it, right? So in October 2004, 1 month before the SpongeBob movie was set to release, the SpongeBob SquarePants movie video game released, and the rest was history. This game had it all. It had insanely fun platforming, racing games with the paddy wagon, fun combat, mini games. It had everything, dude. I'm not exaggerating when I tell you this is one of my favorite games ever made. Hell, doing the race downhill mini games and the mini games where you roll around as SpongeBob and go through obstacle courses were just insane games on their own. I could spend hours doing that to this day. And of course, after they released this game and the movie, they could have decided to end SpongeBob there, but they decided to keep it going because of the ridiculous boatloads of cash they were raking in. But I just want to make it a point to say that if SpongeBob had ended after the movie and season 3, along with the video game, I think personally it would be considered a 10 out of 10, maybe even a damn 11 out of 10, alright? Basically what I'm saying is that SpongeBob, the movie, the video game, was absolutely massive. And you know what else is massive? My favorite comment from last video. And man, I obviously love these games, so I could ramble on all day about them, but I want you guys to let me know if I should make a separate video breaking down specific games on this list or specific movie video games with gameplay in them, because I'm definitely down, dude. Also, let me know your favorite ones or which ones I missed in the comment section, because there are like literally hundreds of these games. I'm not even exaggerating. That being said, I really appreciate you stopping by the video, and I really hope you tell someone that you love them today. Bye bye.